You are now listening to the ReEducation podcast.
Yeah, I guess to go back to James's question, I think it's
about education.
I
Because
think it's deeper than education. The whole system has to change because it was set up to continuously keep us oppressed and at the bottom of the pile.
Hence why it seems as though black people have this crab mentality, because when we're seen to gather together and work together, you get me, there's this negative something hit us straight away. Oh, look at that gang. Oh, look at them. Oh, and then even when we hit it all the way back, if you were seen in a group trying to better yourself, you were killed, you were beat, you were enslaved, your children were taken away from you, all that madness. And so, of course, that's still instilled in us.
Look at Black Wall Street, like in Tulsa. I don't know. I know you watched Lovecraft Country, James, but I don't know if anybody else here
only seen 2 episodes so far.
Lovecraft Country.
Nah, I ain't seen that still.
Listen, there's an episode. Hold on, what episode are you on, James?
I'm on in episode 2. I'm trying to let it all go so I can watch it all, binge it.
It's finished. You can watch now.
I know. I'm gonna binge it. That's the thing. I've stopped.
Oh gosh. But anyway, not to give too much away, there's an episode where they go back in time to Tulsa when the riots happened, and you just see streets of black-owned businesses, and remember, people lived above the properties as well, just on fire. Like the white people just came in, brought down everything, they're on fire and killed people. And not only on the street, but actually on the roads and streets where they lived. So you're taking this from my front door to my workplace. Like it's deep. Like you see us have something. We've come together as a community. So it's not like we can't do it. We've done it before, multiple times. So we can do it. And I guess it does speak to that whole, that slave mentality and crab in a barrel kind of mentality as well, that it's a dog eat dog world. Like when I've made it, you can stay down there. Like I'm shutting the door behind me. Nobody can come in. Like it's just me, because there can only be one. And then that also feeds into pitting black people against each other from slavery days, from colonization. Like I just, so much more than education.
It's, this is kind of like a, going off on a tangent here, but this is a conversation that I have with a few of my guys, innit? And like, again, a few of my guys, like, some of them are legit, some of them aren't, innit? And we just had like a conversation, and I think firstly that the black family in particular plays a very, very big role, a very, very vital role. I think the fact that the impact of a black dad is so underrated. Like people actually don't understand how key that is, not just to men, but to women as well, because it shows you the values on both sides. But secondly, we value the wrong things. Like things that we value don't make no sense. Like we've got that crab in the barrel mentality as well, because things like going to uni and college and stuff like that, that's mocked. You're a nerd. Like it's not rated. But your brethren's coming out of jail, just wasted 4 years of his life, and he's congratulated. You're giving him money, you're popping bottles, you're taking him out, you're buying him clothes, you're doing all of this kind of stuff here. So if a young youth just growing up in the state or wherever, all he's seeing, remember, we're very visual people as well, innit? So if as children all we're seeing is the gang members and stuff being celebrated and there's something to uphold, you're not going to see the 9-to-5 person, because by the time they come back from work, they're just going yard. When I come back from home, I don't want to leave my yard again. But the gang members and stuff like that are always on the roads, innit? So we need to kind of find a way with this next generation coming up. I think it's too late for us. It may even be too late for the generation below us, but the generation after, we need to find a way to reverse what we've learned and teach them that you need to value your education. You need to value certain things. You need to understand that working together is not bad. It's not about keeping this small, tight circle that of 5 people that you know. Nah, network. Build something from yourself. Like, make yourself economically empowered.
Facts.
I totally hear that. And I think the more that we have conversations like this, creating awareness, shining a light on things that people in and outside of our community may not generally talk about, is a stepping point as well. I will never say that education will never, won't solve the problem, but it will support. I just think that it goes deeper than education, because if we want to talk about British history and colonization, then we need to go to Africa and the Caribbean, even Asia. But it's never
and those regions are still feeling the effects of that to this day.
Exactly, but
so it is a very deep thing. But my only not a counter to that, but okay, I like to look at it 2 ways. My only thing to that is, again, as a community now, we've mentioned this in this conversation already. Again, it's like we looked at other communities and other cultures and said, okay, they kind of like stick together more, X, Y, Z. It's like with us now as a Black culture, when are we gonna say, all right, you know what, this is what we've been through? Yes, it needs to be remembered. You can't even forget certain stuff, like can't forget it. But when are we gonna stop letting it affect our actions now, if that makes sense, and move on and be what we need to be and should be? You see what I mean? In terms of as a collective. Like I get you in terms of there's certain systems and whatnot where we look at them and say, you know what, that is designed and that is just against us. Like we're forever going up that uphill battle, but it's like we're a resilient race. Like we've shown that in history. History's proved that we're probably the most resilient out there. Like you see what I'm saying? The fact we're still prospering when we've literally systematically they tried to suppress us or wipe us out. We're still here. We're a strong race.
However, you need to remember the conditioning that those actions have caused an effect on every generation to come.
So which generation is going to break that? Which generation is going to break that?
That's why we're having this conversation. This is why we're having this conversation. And the trauma that happened then is still being carried forward to now.
100%.
That there's things that need to be, it needs to be spoken about so people are aware and people seek the support and the help and come together as a community. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't entertain ignorant conversations. Like, if you want to come to me with that all lives matter, white lives matter stuff, I'll be like, I'm just walking away. Like, I'm not even gonna respond to you like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm just with the wind, because I ain't feeding into your BS. Yeah, I just don't have time for it. I entertain conversations like this. I don't have a problem with somebody having a different opinion to me, but that's what conversations are about. How can we have a conversation when we all agree on the same thing? We all bring different perspectives and we all have different opinions. So that's why having these conversations is key, because I'm guaranteeing you there's people listening or watching that have the same views as you, have the same views as Tafari, have the same views as Ryan, and have the same views as myself. It doesn't mean that everybody's wrong. It means that we're having this conversation because we need to question our thinking. We need to address the past, how it affects the present, and how it can potentially affect the future. And what we want is a different future for the generations to come. I don't want my children to be a part of the generation that is lost for them. Like, no, they're 10 and 6. How can it be lost? Like, that's why when Tafari is saying question the teachers, I'm always questioning the teachers, to the point that the teachers don't even want to tell me nothing. They don't want to tell me nothing when I pick up. They want to send me an email just before half term. Oh, is it really? Okay, because I can send you an email and then I'll be at the front gate on Monday, the 2nd of November. Like, I do this. Like, I don't play when it comes to my children and their education. But without having these conversations, James, there's
100%.
forward.
100,
And
definitely
also
needed that.
highlighting that some people are still stuck in the past, and it's just, oh yeah, you know, that limiting belief and that conditioning, this is just how the world works, you know, back in my day, it's like, okay, well, we're not in your day now, we're in my day, and this ain't cool. Because I know a lot of the stuff that I've experienced. When I asked my mum, like, what was her experience of racism, she's like, yeah, no, I didn't really have it because, you know, we all lived on the same estate. I looked at my mum like, huh? Is it really?
And you should say that, speaking of that, like, you're bro. My dad grew up in Handsworth. My dad from Jamaica was in Handsworth. That's where he grew up when he came to England. So he tells me stories of like.
That is, I'm sorry.
So by my sides.
I know South London.
That's Brum. So I know Brum as well. I know Brum to an extent and stuff. So it's like he told me stories of
Birmingham. Oh, okay.
Birmingham, yeah. So it's like, yeah, their mama got on the bus and they're getting piss thrown at them for getting on the school bus. You see what I'm saying? There's a fight in school. A white kid will beat up a black kid. The black kid is getting caned and detention for the fight when he was the one that got attacked. Little stuff like not little things, they're big things, but things like that is like, again, what a generation just before us has gone through. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they had to deal with and whatnot. And so I can get why their thinking might be slightly different. Well, not slightly, very different to ours kind of thing. And their traumas could be projected onto us and whatnot. But my thing is like, yeah, like, yes, these things happened. Cannot change the past. There's no way. What we can affect though is the future going forward, innit? And I think, again, if more people are aware of certain things in all cultures, not just us as a black culture, we know because we experienced it. But again, it's like, again, white people are not, they don't have a Scooby-Doo about certain stuff. So it's like, again, I think maybe definitely in terms of black history, I think it should be in the syllabus in terms of basic things like, again, Windrush generation, why black people are even here in this country in the first place. We could go further back to slavery as well in terms of all that colonization of Africa and whatnot. We can do all of that, but it needs to be a thing where across the board, from the north of England to the south. Again, living in these cities like London, Birmingham, they're almost little bubbles, you know, because they're very multicultural cities.
Yeah.
Go outside those cities there, it's a whole different kettle of fish again. Like, literally, you can count on your hand the amount of black people you'll see in a day. Now, like, that's just the numbers that's just the nature of the country. Like, it's not a black country. If you were in Nigeria or wherever, it would be the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Like, but here, it is just the nature of it. So again, we've got to play the game. We've got to play the system for our favor and work with the cards we have and use that to our advantage. We can't. Like, I don't think we should harp on it and say, "Oh, we got dealt this hand," and never. Nah, like, okay, cool. This has happened. That's happened. Let's be the best we can be. Let's again stick together in power and bring up each other, kind of thing. And I think education is definitely the key to that in terms of even with black youth. The way some black youth go on today, it's like if they even knew half the stuff that, again, their grandparents went through, maybe, or I don't think they would act the way they do with certain things. I don't think they would. But again, unless you sit down and drum it to some people, just literally have no interest in knowing. So it needs to kind of be pushed on them, if that makes sense. And the only place you can really push these things is school, because if it's not happening at home, where else is it going to happen? That's my opinion. So,
it should be happening at home.
It should.
100%. I think people feel like teachers have to teach these youths everything. Yo, I teach a class of 30. I bounce around the class from the beginning of the lesson to the end of the lesson, but not everybody I haven't been able to give everybody that attention that they need to sit down and really go through. Yo, I taught a year 8 or 9 who didn't even know how to spell his own name. He knew how to spell it from memory. But if I say, what was this letter? He didn't even know. And the mom knew, you know, but you think she was making him read books? No. And so there's so much pressure on education and that. It's mad because, and like you're saying, we're to forget and blah, blah, blah. But in order to educate, you can't forget the things that have happened, because you need to be able to trace that and say, that was then, this is now, yeah, and this is what happened back then, but this is how it's more times still happening now, but just in a different way. But this is what we're doing. And when I say it's not our job to educate, it's not our job to educate people who are ignorant or people who haven't taken the time out to say, yo, actually, I'm friends with a black person. I have a black child, you know, and they don't know anything about the culture. When I'm talking about education, yeah, if you're really genuine, I say, yo, go read that book, or there's a course happening here. Oh, I got a friend who can speak to you about that. That's a whole different ballgame, but I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to sit down with you who hasn't taken out the time to truly educate themselves, because you feel like, oh, now that the what you call it, it's hot now, you know, and people are really saying, yo, what is really going on with the black life? And because you don't want to be the bad guy, or you don't want to be caught in a crossfire, you say, no, educate me. No. Because you should have been educating yourself from the beginning. And white people or any other person who says that they were ignorant, or that they just didn't know, or this is the way that it is a liar. And I don't respect them, and I don't rate them, because they should be taking the time out. Like you're saying, this world is a multicultural world. It's not just only white people they see on the TV. It's not only white people they see working. It's not only white people that they educate all these things. Like they see black people, they see Asian people, they see all types of people. They go on holiday and see different types of people. So the ignorance, it's the privilege that makes them not see their ignorance. And it's the comfortability of the power that Ryan was talking about that they have, because they don't want to give it up, that they're not interested in educating themselves. But even in that, me and my boys, we sat down and we were saying, what we need to educate ourselves, what don't we know? And we didn't know a lot of stuff. So during that time, we was learning about how how voting works, how how the political system works.
Things like this, yeah.
All of that, you get me? And we were saying, we actually don't even know these things. Let me sit down and educate ourselves. And so it has to start somewhere. And it would be foolish to think, oh, let me start educating the whole entire world. No. We can always start in these small pockets of people we know that we can reach. And then so we can go to those people who are in those spaces, whose voice can be amplified. You get me? There's no point in me trying to occupy a space and I know nothing about what's going on in that.
I hear you. On the education point, and Tafari is making the point of, again, there's a lot of things even in ourselves that we might not know. So again, like we're all educated men here. We're all men of it. Like we can show that we can find information and get it and soak it in. But again, not everyone is like that. Not everyone is gonna actively sit down and try and seek certain things. They like literally, it's just humans, in it. Some people need to be spoon-fed stuff, like so. At some point, it's gonna have to happen. But I'm not the kind of person. I'm not gonna go to a random person and start preaching or start enforcing my views on them and saying, "Yo, this is what you should." Like, if someone comes and asks me though, that's when I will take the time out to be like, all right, this person has asked me. So there is something in them that wants to know. They're not just asking me for the sake of asking me. They've clearly got a view, or they don't understand something. They're interested in what I think to do with it. So I'm going to give my side of it and view on it. And that's why I believe, that I think having that open mind to it will help in general, because again, there's a lot of people of other cultures or whatever that they literally have not a clue. Like, we're saying it ourselves. There's certain stuff within our own culture we don't know, and we're still learning about. So how do we expect them to even know?
We know how to carry ourselves. Please, I need you to acknowledge that white your white colleague was gaslighting you.
He was 100%.
Somebody and says, knowing in the heat of the movement, white lives matter. What did he expect to come from that? If you really wanted to know, he should have said, "Yo, big man or boss man, I don't really understand what's going on. This is my view. I believe all lives matter, but let me know, because I actually don't know." But to enter and say white lives matter, big man, do you not know what's going on? Nah, that can't run. So those are the people I can't give a blight to and say, oh, they don't know and blah blah blah. And he's educated enough, hopefully, to know how to.
That's the thing. I don't think he is. I really don't think he is.
Even if it wasn't, surely, you and him have had a conversation here and there, and he knows how to approach somebody. In order to know something, you're telling me he's gonna come to you and say, "Oh, white lives matter." What? I'm not gonna address a white person and say, because I don't know nothing about their physical. Oh, you got no lips. I would never address anything like that. That to me is wild. That's mad. That would be me gaslighting them.
I hear you. No, he definitely was, because in the comments he did it, as I asked him to do something, it was like he kind of didn't want to do it, and he walked off saying, "Well, like IJ's white lives matter," that's the way he said it. I was like,
I would have
mean? Like,
to the
Can I
head shot.
highlight something here? James is very much about that banter.
I am.
Like, you're very much about that banter. I'm not making any excuses, but I feel like the way that you banter with people gives them a little bit of leeway.
Of leeway to do it. You're right. I think you're right.
And say certain things to you, because I know you, James, and I know how you carry yourself amongst people. Like, you're friendly to those that you should really like just one, you know. And this is exactly who I'm talking about, innit? But your levels of banter, clearly, again, this is my opinion. This is my opinion, but because I know you, your level of banter, he felt that he had the power and the leeway to say that to you. So when he's joking, he's not joking. He's being dead serious when he's saying that.
Microaggression.
I hear that.
All of that.
You know what? When I was at work, I was like, people didn't know how to say my name properly, and I was like, yo, let me make it easier for them. I just want to make these people feel comfortable, and I don't want to, draw any problems. So everybody called me Taf, and I was like, no, I do enough already. My name is Tafari, not Tafari, not Safari.
It's not even hard.
You understand? You're gonna put some respect on my name, yeah, because the way that I have to work hard to value you and to respect you, you're gonna respect me. You're gonna say my name properly. So the banter thing, no. So if even those little things,
if they can see the word MEADBH and understand that is meant to be spelt Maeve, Tafari is not hard. I tell you that for free. You can't tell me that I can spell out the name Maeve in that particular way and you just know it off rip. But you can't pronounce my name. God, man.
I used to sign off those emails like kind regards Taf. Now I'm like kind regards Tafari.
My name is Simone, innit? But sometimes when I'm sending an email, I just put Sim in there. But for me to put Sim in there, like, we have to have a good kind of relationship going. And I'd be quick to send emails to people in prison and put my name as Sim over people in the organization that I work with. There were points where people were then introducing me as Sim to brand new people. And somebody said that whilst we were in the prison. I've never actually said this. I work in prisons, yes. Criminal justice system, that's me. One person actually addressed me as such in front of young people in prison as Sim. I was like, that's how you go. Then the young fresh person decided, oh yeah, Sim. I said, no, it's Simone. How did I introduce myself to you? Furthermore, it's Miss. Let's not even do this. But it's like that level of you get too comfortable. So we'll just go to signing my name as Simone. And it's not even that hard to pronounce, you would think. I've had people call me Simon, Simone, Simone, Simone. Like, I can't. It's Simone.
Very cheeky.
Do you know what? At this point, I think they just do things to kind of
wind us up.
Yeah. It's like I was talking about Amsterdam with someone at work, and they were like, I was like, oh, do you know, I've never been, but it would never interest me because I don't smoke. You don't smoke? I thought you was high the other day. I said, what? Wait, what? What's good? I don't even come in here with bloodshot eyes. Like, what's going on here?
Oh God.
I've been propositioned by students. I've been propositioned by students when I was instructing, and again, these are white women, white guys, and they're just like, James, like, raw, like, if you want to come chill and smoke, I'm just like, who told you I smoke, bro? Like, who told you I smoke? And these are like, they're just saying it cash, like I can't lose my license if you see what I'm saying? It's like they're trying to set me up here, whatever. Like, it's mad, but they're just saying it so they just think it's just he's Jamaican, and that's what they do. That's, you see what I'm saying? That's the mindset they have, and yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all interesting.
But the name thing as well. So let's go to the name thing again. It's like I'm very. It shouldn't be like this, but again, my name James Taylor. On paper,
you're a white man.
They think I'm a white man. They probably think I'm a white man. So when I go for that job interview or whatever and turn up, I've seen looks like, oh, James, yeah. Like, they say it like that. Oh, you're James, okay. and they're not expecting to see me, if that makes sense. But let's say if we're in the Caribbean now, again, because of slavery and stuff, there's a lot of white names. Most surnames are like that. You see what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be such a thing. But again, it's just the nature of the situation we're in and the country we're in. That's what it is. But again, it goes back to education, because then if these white people knew, I've had people ask me, why is my name not an African name? I've had someone ask me that. And I had to tell them, you do not know about slavery, and they're just like, no, what's all that about? And literally, I'm telling you, there's grown people that don't. I'm telling you, I don't know what you have to say. There's people that don't know nothing about it.
I don't
They don't know
believe it.
nothing.
Nah,
And
they
I'm
know.
saying to them, I don't know my ancestors. I don't know. I need to do a DNA test to find out where I'm actually from.
Nigeria.
You think I'm Nigerian?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I get Ghanaian a lot though. Ghanaians think I'm Ghanaian, so I'm gonna say Ghanaian.
Nah. You got a Nigerian face still. I ain't even gonna lie. Still,
I'm not gonna comment on that. I want to keep it. I don't want to.
Good night. I'm letting you know.
Okay, cool. But yeah, man.
So I just want to go back to something that James, you highlighted, and I think Tafari mentioned about, the Black Lives Matter movement. I really would like to know, how did the murder of George Floyd and the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement globally impact your workplaces?
It was just business as usual.
So,
Nobody cared.
Yeah, it wasn't until like the black people stood up and was like, "Nah, we need a meeting now," that something was done about it. I remember it happening, and I sent an email to my boss, and I was saying, "But this has happened. This is what's going on in the world right now. You get me? And it's affected me, and it's affecting my community. This is what I see in the school. I see that there's no black people in the senior leadership team, and that speaks a lot to the school. But I'm willing to move forward and help in whatever way possible. To bring that awareness. You get me? So it was very suggestive of how helpful I was, or how helpful I wanted to be. And in that, he got from that I was calling him a racist. I got a call. Yeah. He told me I was calling him racist. This is a white man, by the way. He told me I called him racist, and that my email was very unprofessional and poorly written. I said, big man, I have been writing emails since I was 14. I know how to put an email together. I'm university educated twice, about to be a whole third time. So I know how to. You understand? I know how to write. Writing exams, not my strong point. Written stuff, I've got that down packed. And I was just like, right, did this happen? And so nothing happened really, in terms of what was going on. Because I was like, you haven't even like addressed the pupils or the work. You haven't addressed the pupils, the staff, nor the parents. And so nothing happened until, we made something happen. That was mad. That was mad. Even in that meeting, somebody said, "Oh, do you know they were talking and they were saying, oh, white people," and the first thing he picked up, not all white people, not all white people. Well, we know that it's not all white people, and that it's not all white people, but that's the statement that he made, and he doesn't mean anything by it. You get me? And so for you to take offense by that little thing is speaking volumes to your thinking and your character, which I think is mad, because you're leading staff that are black, and you're leading children who are black and are from the different ethnicities and minorities. And it's mad to see that somebody in that position and who holds that power actually doesn't even really care, to be honest.
It's the saddest thing.
You get me? And to speak and to say to a black person who is pointing out facts, because before I sent the email, I made sure I got my facts together. I looked on the website. I asked this person. I said, "Who's on the senior leadership team?" "Oh, just these white people and 2 Asian people, but only the second Asian person is only there because the white lady retired like a few months ago." "Oh, cool. let me just put that in the email about there not being any black people, but let me also be suggestive because I don't want it to look like, and here I go again, thinking, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to come across as aggressive. I don't want to come across as condescending or anything like that. You get me? And so I was like, let me just run this past somebody to make sure that the email isn't that way. Hopefully she reads it and blah, blah, blah. She sent me the whole thing again. I said, yeah, this is cool or whatever. But yeah, like I keep saying, nothing was really done until we didn't kick up a fuss, but we made sure that a meeting was held. We made sure that the staff were going to be educated. We made sure that these things were going to be in place. But in the first beginning, not a sound. Didn't even spit on us to say, yo, here's a drink of water. You get me? After all those tears, you guys probably been bawling.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sad reality is that's what happens. Like, you have to make noise in order to be seen, in order to be considered. And even then, sometimes it's just a pacifying activity. The whole aspect of BAME. Why are we suffering different communities in one?
Because it allows them, you know what, it's strategic, isn't it? If they put us all in the same category, and what it allows them to do is that can count as Asians, that can count as Eastern Europeans, that can count as whatever you want it to be. Did you see on Sky News when they asked that politician how many black people is in the cabinet? And he started talking about Asians and BAME community. She said, no, I asked how many black people are on the cabinet, and he couldn't answer. And that just showed it. It could say that there's 55% of the workforce is from a BAME background or whatever. How many of them are black?
But it's even with the disproportionate numbers of black men or BAME men in the criminal justice system. Like, when you break that down further, the percentages are high for black people. And that's in the youth estate as well as the adult estate. So it's like, let's not just throw everybody into one pot, because, that's what you've been doing for how many hundreds of years. But right now, that's not going to work, innit? You need to acknowledge that each group goes through different things, experiences things differently, and are treated very differently, not given the same opportunities to thrive. You want us to beg, borrow, and steal for why? When other people ain't doing that. Furthermore, everybody else is stealing and still thriving. But you want us to beg, borrow, and then steal on top of it.
We've got to play the system. We've got to play the game. We've got, like, everyone else is doing it. We've got to do it.
I should steal then. I should just steal, yeah?
I think you should win by any means. Now, you can take that how you want to take it, innit?
No.
You should win by any means.
I agree. If the system is this, we need to be smart and say, okay, how can we use it to our advantage, even though it's trying to disadvantage?
Oh, definitely. But I feel like that's what we are doing. But that doesn't stop the fact that doors are being shut in our face, and that we're, you spoke about your name, this James Taylor, yeah? You probably get interviewed like boom, like that. Me, I have to make sure my thing is set up differently. Because for my first name, you know that I'm not white. From the jump, you know that you're going to see a black man walk through those doors. You're not going to see you're in your thinking, you're not thinking, oh yeah, he might be white. You get me? And so it's not about, using the system to our advantage, because we can't use it to our advantage because it's set up in a way that we're oppressed, and that we're not set up to win. And so man is saying steal or use the system in the way that we want to and take that however, but no, I'm not doing that. I want to be afforded the same opportunities. I shouldn't have to pre-through my team 5 times, and put extra stuff in order just to get my foot in the door. It's long.
Yeah, up. Just
I'm tired.
Come across offensive aggressive. I think that you was a bit too blunt, and I got intimidated by your email. That's because that's how you read it. It's not because that's how I wrote it. I didn't.
Listen.
I called a meeting with him. Yeah. I called a meeting with him. I said, if you know me, you know that if I wanted to call you a racist, I would have put that in the email. And that's one thing you should know about me. I said, I'm not afraid to tell you. If you're a racist, big man, I'm going to say you are a racist in bold writing, because that's how I feel. And that's what I see. I said, I'm not afraid to let you know that you're a racist. But to imply that and to say that my email was sloppy, you're disrespectful. And now you need to be addressed.
James, you didn't mention how the murder and the resurgence of Black Lives Matter, if it did in any way affect your workplace.
The only effect I could say is, again, comments. Certain little comments will come up, and that one guy, yeah, he made the comment, "Why does matter?" Whatever, and he went on to ask, but that it did spark conversation. That I can't lie, it did spark conversation with certain people. Again, like even another colleague, he hadn't even seen the George Floyd video. He hadn't even seen that, so he didn't. Again, he was just like, what's all the fuss about? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And like get these like, so I know it sounds mad. I know it sounds so alien, because again, we immerse ourselves in certain stuff, and because it affects us to a certain degree. I imagine these people are not getting affected by it, so they're not actually seeking out to know or see what's happening. It doesn't affect them in any kind of way. So again, this guy hadn't seen the George Floyd video. I showed it to him, and the wickedest thing about that, he's an ex-prison officer, so he comes from that background. So he's now seen the video, and his reaction was, "What the frig? Like that's just mad. Like, you can't, if you're restraining someone, they can't breathe. If they're on an airway, you have to put them in your." He was saying there's a protocol you have to go through if someone can't breathe, and he was speaking from obviously the British side of things. Obviously, what happened to George Floyd in America, but so he went on and he started telling me about certain protocols and certain things and blah 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 blah. But then he ended it by saying, "Listen, forget all that. Like, someone's getting murdered in cold blood right there on the video, and what the heck, like." I'm not surprised people are upset and angry. That's just madness. Like, and his words were like, "I wouldn't go to America if I was black." He said that. He's like, and then again, I was like, "Well, America's a big place." Like, so, but again, it did spark conversation, and I think it definitely brought awareness to certain things, and I feel that, again, if it educated even one racist, like, it's worth the hoo-ha or whatever. It's worth it. It's worth all the attention. Definitely.
I think what I've found is that people get confused as to why George Floyd's murder sparked what it did globally. And again, I think it goes back down to that, well, there's articles, there's historical moments in history that you can, research about, there's books you can read, there's interviews that you can watch, that historically that chokehold has been used multiple times on people in the Black community. Like, people are dying at the hands of police in that specific way continuously for no reason. And when you weigh it up against the deaths of how white people are, if they are murdered by the police, it's a complete imbalance. There's been so much different memes going around. Like, there's the man that killed the girls. I think he went into a school and killed some children. Then there's another one that went into a church and killed people. These are white people in America.
Yeah. And
And
they're walking them out.
They're being given water, given snacks. Then you see
one of them Burger King.
Allegedly wrote a bad check, getting chokeholded on the floor, or gave a counterfeit bill, which turned out to not even be counterfeit in the end. So it's like, so why did he have to die? Why did Eric Garner have to be choked to death?
The thing is, they got him in the car. He was handcuffed in the car. Yeah, because he was saying that he doesn't feel comfortable in a car or something when he's claustrophobic. I can't remember, but he's restrained. There's no need for
they dragged him out of the car.
Yeah, there's no need for 3 people to be on you. 1 on your legs, 1 on your back, 1 on your neck, and 1 for the lookout. There's no need for none of that. To the point that I'm gonna keep it real. I've only seen pictures. I couldn't bring myself to watch that video because it's it's tiring, fam.
I saw it by accident. I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it, it was just like Twitter timeline kind of thing, and I saw
Yeah,
it there.
no,
Like blowing up
I
stuff.
couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It's just tiring. Like,
I was watching a documentary on Sky, and you know Miss Fast Kiana. I'm in my room watching the TV. She comes in and she happens to see him like saying, "I can't breathe," and calling for his mum. And she's like, "Mummy, why are they doing that to him?"
look how damaging that is on a. Look at that. A child.
Okay, let's press
Look,
pause. let's
Mm-hmm.
let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
But that's even mad though, because you really think, yeah, that white parents are having to sit down with their children. I don't like. I had to have that conversation with my daughter that's 9, and explain to her. I'm having to explain to her from now, because she's going into secondary school in a couple of years, that yeah, look, you're a black child, but you're a black girl. You're gonna be like, you're not gonna be able to react a certain way without getting a certain label. You're gonna want to defend yourself, and they're gonna call you an angry black woman. They're gonna stereotype you just from the way that you look, and your white counterparts are gonna be able to start shouting and railing and throwing this and throwing that, but to them it's just passion. With you, you're gonna have that stigma. You're gonna have to learn to maneuver your way around it. I shouldn't have to have that child. I shouldn't have to have that conversation with my child 2 years before she goes to school.
We shouldn't have to have the conversation of when. But again, the sad reality is that's how the conversations happen. When you get stopped by the police, this is what you better do. This is what you shouldn't do. When you get told to do this in school, this is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. If somebody comes up to you and says this is what you should do, it's never if this happens to you. When?
The thing is, even when you tell them what they should do and what they shouldn't do in certain police encounters,
goes out the window.
It doesn't matter. It
It's
does
the
not
human
matter.
of the
You
day,
can do,
yeah.
you can, and the thing is as well, certain times you can do everything right,
Mm-hmm.
and they will still find a reason.
Exactly.
They will still, and that is I saw a video of a guy that was talking to a police officer, and they saw that some backup came. My man was talking normally, just like how we're talking now, and they came, body slammed him to the floor, broke his wrist by accident, and the man was like, "Raw, why did you do that? Like, situation was under control. That's not even who we needed." You know, it's just, bro. Yeah.
Was that here or America?
That was in America. But even
America,
over here,
yeah.
It's I wouldn't even just limit it to over in America though, because it may be. I think the difference between racism over here and over in America is that over here is just a bit more covert. They will
100%.
do certain things to let you know that you're less than me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Put you in your place, like know your lane, stay in your lane.
yeah.
America, on the back of this George Floyd stuff and with the American stuff, again, I started doing a lot of research and whatnot, and what the conclusion I kind of came to, the American side of things, the police unions are a big problem in America. That means what I say by that is these police, they are protected. They can literally, they will murder someone in cold blood. It will be on video and film on camera, and their union will still back them in court. So they know that no matter what they do, they're not going to get no death penalty. Okay, they might serve a bit of time, but their family, they'll get full pension. They're set up. They're cool to do it. So again, it's like there's no action. Like they can do literally whatever they want, and there's no repercussions for that. So imagine being in a job where you know you can act any type of way you want. You could do anything, and you're still going to get rewarded at the end of that. It's not going to tarnish you in any kind of way. All right, you'll get a whole community that don't like you, but again, if you got full pension and your family's fine, you move, you go somewhere else, and you can start your life again. After you've murdered someone, you've ended a life and destroyed another family, you're still back. So I think that's what needs definitely that structure in America in terms of the police unions backing officers to the hilt. That needs breaking down because it's very old-fashioned in what it does. Yes, I get unions there to protect workers, and in some aspects they're needed, but if a police officer can imagine you are racist and you know that, you would join the police force on purpose because you know you're going to get that black guy one day. You know you're getting him. or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10.
Matter
Who
of
knows how many have been murdered? Who knows how many officers that like listen, it's only now we're in a digital age of cell phones and you see what I'm saying? Camera phones and internet. 10 years ago, these officers again, no one's catching it on film. So certain things are happening. It just depends what they put in the report. If they put in the report, yeah, he pulled out a gun on me, that's what's in the report. Whereas he could have literally walked up to a guy and just shot him in the head and been like, yeah.
But the scary thing about all of that is that even with all the camera phone evidence,
still,
look at the extremes we have to go to just for people to get arrested. Bro, they rioted. I'm not even rioted. They marched for days on days on days.
And look how long it took.
And look at the Breonna Taylor thing.
Oh,
that's still going on.
No, bro, they dropped all the charge. The feds didn't even get charged. One of them lost their job.
It's the union. They'll get the top lawyers. They'll spend whatever to get that officer off or to get officers off. That's what they do.
It's crazy. Like, you have to go out in the rain and do all of that madness where a man is bringing the army out to come in and try and get you to go back home. You have to do all of that. And then at the end of it, someone's taking your life and the wall is getting more justice than you. Like, are you deep in that? The wall for your neighbor, not your black neighbor, by the way. Your black neighbor's wall didn't get no charges. Your white neighbor's wall is what you got the charges for. Like, that is mad.
And this is the sad reality that we are living in. And I can't keep stressing enough why I want to keep having conversations like this. Maybe uncomfortable for some people. It may be, empowering, light, shining a light, creating awareness, enabling people to see things from different perspectives. Because, how can we grow as a community, as a society, if we don't fully understand the people around us, the people that hold up the spaces in the community? We just can't. And, there's a lot of work that the Black community itself needs to do just as a unit. But I think what I've got from this conversation is that we have the different types of people within the community. So you have people that will have conversations with people in other races to kind of shine a light, educate others to an extent. You have people that are you have people that are aware and kind of know how to maneuver in the spaces that they occupy, and kind of it's like an expectance of, this is what's going to happen, so I need to know how I'm going to challenge that, how I'm going to manage that for me to be able to get through. And you also have people that's like, I understand that, but that shouldn't be the reality. Like, it shouldn't be. Just like you said, Tafari, I should be given the same opportunities as everybody else. I shouldn't be the exception to the rule. And I can never stop saying the little quote that I got from the people versus OJ. So the Black lawyer that was on the prosecution side, he said to the woman, you wanted a Black face, but you didn't want a Black voice. And I find in a lot of industries and a lot of spaces, that is all we are, is a Black face. The moment we open our mouths and start speaking up and sharing our opinion and speaking on behalf of, our experiences and the experiences of those to come that are Black like us, it's a problem. You get thrown, you're racist. Oh no, I was just joking, mate. Oh, you're taking it too seriously, you're too emotional. That was just a joke. Like, what's your problem? And we have to continuously fight against this every day.
Mad.
I want to really thank you guys. Tafari, James, Ryan, thank you so much for coming onto this. I think it's going to be a 2-part episode. Is there any lasting roundup words that you guys want to share?
Yeah, I just want to tell people who are watching, particularly those who are Black, is not to dim your light for anybody. You get me? Regardless of the place and the space that you're in. And if you have to dim your light, then that place is just not for you. And if you feel like you need to dim your light, maybe take that time to educate and say, you know, this is, I can't afford to dim my light because, like I'm saying, I'm a teacher and there's kids that look like me that I teach, that see me every day. And so they need to be able to see somebody who looks like them in that space, speaking up for what's right and being themselves, being their true, authentic, unapologetic self. And for those people who keep saying that they're, particularly people who aren't black, who keep saying that they're ignorant or don't know, go and educate yourself. The information's out there. Go and get it.
Thank you.
I'll just say, yeah, like you said, don't dim your light, but also just don't let anybody define who you are. Don't I know we got that you're talking white or you're trying to be black and all that stuff. Like, fuck all of that. Be who you are. If you're a nerd, be that guy. Be whoever you are. You don't have to kind of play up to certain things because it's cool. If your calling is something like recruitment, do that. If your calling is something practical like a plumber, electrician, anything like that, just find your lane, stay in your lane, and don't feel you always have to conform because you're gonna fear losing something like that. Just be you.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah, second Robin point. Up to third. There's 2 points there, man. Definitely. Yeah, just be the best you can be, man. Don't ever think you can't. That's the main thing I try to. I say it to my friends even, like I don't want to hear I can't. Like, that's not something like I subscribe to. Like, no matter what, if you want to do it, do it. That's my whole thought to it. So yeah, definitely.
Again, thank you guys.
Thank
Do
you.
you want to share your socials or anywhere that people can find you, holler at you?
Okay, boom. You can find me on Instagram at Doozy Nugget. Yeah, DOOZIE Nugget, like the chicken. Yeah.
James, Ryan?
I'm like Batman. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have socials like that, so I'm a bit low key.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on IG. Find me, Super Malt Puppy, 2 P's, 2 I's. Kill me, obviously. Drake can be a puppy or champagne. Let me be one of Super Malt, innit? Yeah, find me on there, Super Malt Puppy.
Oh gosh. Those handles will be down in the description box. If you don't believe that his IG is show some love, go follow people, and drop a comment down below. Holler at me if you have any comments and questions. And yeah, again, thank you guys for tuning into the ReEducation podcast. I look forward to continuing to learn and grow with you all. Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, it's Keanu again. You're listening to the ReEducation podcast.